Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, January the 14th, race number 8 at Aqueduct. Kentucky Oaks qualifying points on the line in the Busanda. Let's take a look at this field. 3-year-old filly is going a demanding mile and an eighth. $100,000 is the purse. Please scan the QR code for race of the day access on mobile. Chad Brown as the morning line favorite. The number 2, Occult. Todd Pletcher bookends the field with the 1, Gambling Girl, the 5, Aniston.
Yeah, short field here. No real fast races on display yet, Dan. We'll see who can, ultimately start taking steps forward on the way to the Kentucky Oaks. Occult 7-5 on the line off of a maiden win where she posted a 72 buyer, Dan, and believe it or not, that's the top figure in the field.
Yeah, these horses still have a lot to prove. And going over this race on a first pass basis, I was wondering, where's the speed? Maybe Timeform US could help us out with their pace projector. And as we see with the pace projector, Timeform US believes Occult can make the front. None of these 5 fillies have really shown any kind of speed. I'd love for someone to get aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certain somebody will try to take the bull by the horns here, Dan. I don't know if it'll be one of the bigger prices or not, but certainly Occult has every right to be on the lead in this race. She's only run twice. She was forwardly placed last time. The 4, Sweetest Princess, just broke her maiden first time dirt, and she was pretty close to the pace throughout that race. So maybe she'll go.
Jockey Kendrick Carmouche can be aggressive on occasion. He'll pilot the number 1, Gambling Girl, a $200,000 New York-bred daughter of Dialed In. She's already a stakes winner, and she was 3rd last time out over this course, over this distance in the Grade 2 Demoiselle. Gambling Girl, I think she can be a little bit closer to the pace than she was in the Demoiselle. They sort of kept her in the back and made one run.
Yeah, she ran fine in that race, actually. If nothing else, Dan, and she doesn't have any fast races on her card. She does sort of feel like a filly who has improved since the distances have gotten longer. And so that's, certainly a benefit to her here. She doesn't really have a lot of speed. So I'd be surprised if Carmouche got aggressive with her. But I guess in this short field, anything's possible. I thought her Demoiselle was fine. She didn't have a big excuse there. I thought Irad gave her a really good ride, and she actually ran pretty well in that race, but she was only 3rd best.
She is the only 2-time winner in the field, although both of those victories came against New York breds. The number 2 is Occult, well-bred daughter of Into Mischief. The dam won the Barbara Fritchie, obviously a Grade 2 stakes race sprinting on the dirt. So Occult's going to have to prove that she can navigate the mile and an eighth, stretching out around 2 turns for the first time. But here she is in start number 2, winning a maiden special, going a 1-turn mile over Good Going. And Occult got close to this moderate pace, took over turning into the stretch, and strides out in the lane to win by 5. You mentioned the buyer, 72.
Yeah, again, it's the top figure in the field as of now, but it just feels like there are several horses in here who can keep getting better, and Occult's one of those, Dan. She certainly improved in this race to get the job done. Really good trip, always kept the pace and range. She's going to drive away from this field late. A step in the right direction, to be sure. They didn't get that aggressive with her sprinting in her debut. It kind of felt like they were waiting to stretch her out, and she improved stretching out.
Dylan Davis picks up the mount as Manny Franco, who rode Occult last time out, will be aboard the number 3, Affirmative Lady. And why not? Even though Affirmative Lady is still a maiden, she's already graded stakes place, and she almost scored the Grade 2 Demoiselle, finishing ahead of Gambling Girl. This race was contested over a sloppy track. It wasn't the fastest race in the world, and as you can see, everybody's got a chance at the 8th pole.
Yeah, she's there, the 5 in the purple slips right to her inside, and the orange cap there is the New York bred Gambling Girl. So they both had a real shot at this thing, Dan. They're ultimately going to get closed down here by the favorite in the late stages. They both, ran fine in here. I have no problem with Affirmative Lady, except that maybe Dan only improved slightly in that Demoiselle. She was 7-1 that day. Going to be a much shorter price here, and she doesn't have a lot of speed. So I guess you could argue that she might be compromised by pace in this race.
Here's another New York bred, the number 4, Sweetest Princess. She'll be trying open company for the first time after graduating in her first ever race on dirt. This race, a 1-turn mile against fellow New York breds back in November. It was a field that was pretty spread out, turning into the stretch. Sweetest Princess got up close to the pace, and she finishes it off in a professional, workmanlike manner.
Yeah, she's going to get the job done here. Just sort of sat up close, edges away from this field late. It's a very weak field, Dan. It's not a fast race at all. The horses that run second and third to this filly have both come back to run, and they did not run well in their subsequent starts. So the 49 buyer kind of, I hate to just, lean on figures in race like this, but the 49 buyer kind of tells the story there.
Affirmative Lady and Gambling Girl almost did it, but the lone 9 furlong winner in the field is the number 5, Aniston. This is a full sister to Super Sensational, a graded stakes winning sprinter by Curlin, but the 1.125 wasn't a problem in this race. Her second lifetime start for trainer Todd Pletcher, maiden special weight, and she got up close to a relatively solid pace in this race for the 1.125 for lightly raced maidens, and she wins very easily.
Yeah, this is just a really easy one. She just, sort of saved ground in a really good trip behind the lead the entire way. Squeezed through, was a little tight on the rail at the top of the stretch, squeezed through there. I think you just have to like the way she finishes it off, Dan. She's going to just run away from these horses through the stretch. She's in hand under the wire, and it's just a huge step forward for a filly who debuted going a mile a couple of months before this and was super green in that race, getting totally outrun. Really took a step forward in this race, even though the race didn't come back fast.
Really night and day from a professionalism standpoint, and breaking from this outside post, I would think Jose Lezcano will try to get forward with her, and I think she'll be up close to a moderate pace with a big chance when the field turns into the stretch. Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button for the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for the Busanda. Again, 20 Kentucky Oaks qualifying points to the winner. You're going with Aniston, much improved second time out, squeezing through along the inside, and she should get some clean air from the outside here.
Yeah, seems like it. Hopefully she gets another good trip. I kind of just wanted to avoid the Demoiselle horses, Dan. I know the figures from their respective maiden wins suggest that Occult is a lot better than Aniston at this point. I don't really buy that.
Well, they're so lightly raced, they can jump up and improve by leaps and bounds, as we saw from Aniston's second time out. I do think that Occult might have a pace edge. I think Aniston will try to go. I think Occult's a little bit quicker. She outdrew her breaking inside of Aniston, and I think she's going to get to the front in here and control the pace. Like you, I'm against the Demoiselle horses. 5231 for Mike, 2315 for me. It's the $100,000 Busanda for 3-year-old fillies at Aqueduct on Saturday. Good luck.